Okay, now, yeah, 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 I'm going in, no time to play. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 I got a dream,
As
I
a
wanna chase.
mortician
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
past, I was a
yeah,
mortician for 15 years. I got to see death daily. It was very real. It wasn't the cliche, we're not promised tomorrow. It was very real. Death was present for me daily. And to see the number of people who were committing suicide or on the verge of that in relation to the communication that I was having with the families who were the survivors of the deceased, it became too real for me that there's so much suffering that is unnecessary. And we have here with psilocybin something that can change that for people. We have the ability to prevent suicides. We have the ability to prevent that deepening of depression and the intensity that goes along with it that people are suffering with. And why the F are we not delivering it to people in bulk in places where like we can see that something can be done differently to prevent future suicides, that deep intense depression, the suffering that happens within those walls. We have the ability and the power to do something about it, and so that's the place that I come from, why I do what I do now, in that I'm not waiting for permission. Yeah.
Jackie, that's incredible. This world needs healers, and particularly with unique perspectives, and that perspective of dealing with death daily for 15 years in a country that, and really in much of the world, that runs from death. And in fact, our cultures have often shut the door on death. It becomes this thing that you'll get to, but ignore it. And where many other cultures, ancient cultures, death was part of the ecosystem of life. Mexican culture, Dia de los Muertos, of course, is you live with death. You honor it once a month for, I'm sorry, once a year for a month, and recognize it, but it's always present, right? But dealing with death can be a pretty traumatic thing for particularly people in the West, but all over the world, certainly. So your perspective is very unique. Um, and no amount of academic training can prepare someone to look deeply into one of our greatest fears, uh, being death. How has this been useful for you in supporting people going through the personal healing work of plant medicine? Specifically, what lessons has it brought you that you can then share with people as they're going through some tough times?
Yeah, thank you for asking this question. Such an important one. Um, we're all going to die. There's there's no changing that. We're all going to die. However, we can change our life drastically when we come to the acceptance that we're going to die, and that we can see that the mystery is in when. And so coming to a place of understanding where we can love ourselves, accept ourselves, believe in ourselves, create a sense of personal healing, personal understanding that there's a purpose for our life here and now, and someday that will come to an end. We create a different way of living. And that's the important part, is recognizing that life is happening for us now, and we we just don't know. When will I die? I can die tomorrow. I can die in 15 seconds. I can die in 20 years. And if I'm making the most of my life now, then when that time comes, the people around who are left behind can have a sense of recognizing she loved life and she lived life, and we all have the power to do that for ourselves. And so we I mean, the problem is in when we don't recognize that death is coming for us. And so we're waiting, hoping, wishing, wanting, believing that maybe something else is available. The truth is that's not. Death will come, and we just don't know when. So why the heck wait for a second more?
Okay, now, yeah, 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 I'm going in, no time to play. Yeah, 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 I got a dream, I wanna chase. Yeah, 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 so stack the money in the bay. Yeah, 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 I got something I gotta say. Yeah, yeah, yeah.